Car Seat Headrest. This indie rock band signed to Matador Records has a huge following nowadays. This 4-piece band used to be a 1-piece man who I don't think had a lot of social life because he made a ton of music. Will Toledo wrote, produced, recorded, and released so many albums that if you're a new Car Seat Headrest listener, it can be kind of intimidating finding out where to start. What are these albums about? What do they mean? Even for a recurring listener, it can be intimidating. I still haven't listened to the numbered album. Today, I'm just gonna be going through these albums, gonna be casually explaining them to you because I love them, you love them, and if you're a beginner to the Car Seat Headrest fan base, you're kind of late to the party, but you can use this video as a guide to navigate their back catalog. I'm here to help.
You are now listening to Car Seat Headrest.
The story of Car Seat Headrest begins with the numbered albums. Like I said before, I have not listened to these albums. As far as I'm aware, it's a super lo-fi William. This is like straight out of high school William type of beat here, I think. There's 4 of them. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4. If you question William's abilities to count to 4, you can put that suspicion to rest. But I don't know if you could count to 5. Just kidding, because there's supposed to be a 5th album in the number series, but it got turned into My Back Is Killing Me Baby. There's like the Sunburn Shirts EP that got combined with 5, and that turned into My Back Is Killing Me Baby. Out of all the albums that Will has produced besides the number albums, this is the album I've listened to the least. Once again, Lo-Fi William singing about being depressed. He's got no passion. He's got back issues. He's lonely. Cheer up, Will. Depression is a mindset, man. I'm just kidding. If you're sad, if you're depressed, reach out. We love talking about mental health in the Discord, so if you need a community to talk to, hit us up. So Will Toledo was a bit lonely in this album, but that didn't last very long. Enter Twin Fantasy. I still love this album because of 3 reasons. 1, I'm not homophobic. 2, I'm an ally of the furries. 3, Will Toledo is extremely talented. So if you're a homophobe or you don't like furries, probably don't listen to this album. Probably don't even listen to Will Toledo. Or you know what? Just accept everyone. What's wrong with you? This album's based off of Will Toledo's real life personal relationship. Definitely the most personal album that Will has made to date, or not to date, up to that point. This is also a big switch up in Will Toledo because it was the first concept album he's made. This album will soon get a reimagined version of it, but we'll talk about that later. Twin Fantasy is all about being in love. Then Monomania is about being sad and depressed because you just lost your relationship. Another conceptual album. One of my favorite parts of this album is during the climax of the song Souls, where Will just screams about how he wants to have sex with you. This album is also very electronic, very experimental electronic vibes coming in from the production side of things here, and it's pretty cool. One of my favorite Car Seat Headrest albums. Let's talk about Living While Starving, because Will Toledo got his hands on the little known digital audio workstation called Logic. So Will started experimenting with Logic and trying to figure out what he could do with the program, and out came Living While Starving. Pretty cool EP. Nervous Young Man came out around that time as well. Nervous Young Man is a compilation album consisting of songs that were written between like when he was like 17 and 21 or something like that. A whole wide range of sounds and dynamics and lyrical styles. He says that he intended this album to be like a greatest hits type album, or at least feel like a greatest hits type album. It's the longest album he's ever made, coming in at like 2 hours long, has 20 songs. Kind of insane. It's also a reference to William's earlier band way back in the day, his crazy high school days, where he had a band called Nervous Young Men. During this time, Will Toledo started writing an album called Teens of Denial, but we're gonna get to that later. He also started writing an album called How to Leave Town, which I think is filled of just like kind of outtakes of songs that didn't fit in Teens of Denial. But it also kind of has its own theme of him moving across town. He's going across the country. He moves from like Vermont to Seattle or something like that. And this album also explores more electronic vibes coming in from the Willius Toledus. It's also my favorite Car Seat Headrest album. Fun fact, you would know that if you watched my tier list video. You should go watch that video after this video. That is all the pre-Matador content that Will has released. Then, he signed to Matador Records. He went, hey, Matador, let me sign that little contract with you. Yeah, I'm a sellout. He got together with 2 people, eventually 3, but I think that for now it's just 2. Andrew Katz and Ethan Ives, something like that. And these 3 people got together and they re-recorded some of of Will's older work, and that came into a compilation album called Teens of Style. And Teens of Style consisted of songs from Monomania and My Back Is Killing Me Baby. I think it's okay. I'd rather listen to the originals, but that's not something I'm gonna discuss in this video. Enter Seth Dably. Dably. I don't know. I didn't do research. So now, the full 4-piece band known as Car Seat Headrest has been formed, and they released Teens of Denial. This album's just more depression and loneliness and sadness. Teens of Denial is a great album, very rock vibes coming in here from Will Toledo and the crew, and it's a pretty special album to me. It's the first Car Seat Headrest album that I listened to, and it's probably the first that a lot of people have listened to. So remember that album about that relationship that Will had, you know, and like the furries and stuff? Yeah, Will and the crew decided to rework that entire album into a 2018 version of the album. I've already made my opinion clear about this album. It is just a more hi-fi version of the album. It is interesting too because there's some parts in this album where it sounds like he's talking directly to the person that the album's about. The last album that Will and the crew has released is Making the Door Less Open. Well, before this they released a live album, but who cares about live albums? Making the Door Less Open. We got more electronic vibes coming from this album. I love some electronic vibes. William Toledo and the crew teams up with One Trait Danger. One Trait Danger, for you those of you who don't know, is a little side project that Andrew Katz did, and Will Toledo's, I think, a part of it too, I think. And this album is actually not very conceptual, which is interesting. This is the first like non-concept album that Will's made since the beginning of Twin Fantasy. Now we are in current time, where Will hasn't released an album yet. Oh, just kidding. We got Mad Low influences. We got Mad Low remixes. Mad Low influences is a bunch of covers that Will and the crew made. It's just like a bunch of songs that inspire the album. Mad Low remixes is self-explanatory. If you don't know what a remix is, get with the times, man. I don't know what to say. So that was my comprehensive guide to Car Seat Headrest. If you're new to the band, I suggest you start with whatever album you want to start with, because honestly, they're all great. Will Toledo, I love you. And also remember, whenever someone asks you, why do you like Car Seat Headrest, make sure you say, you are not homophobic. You are a furry ally. Will Toledo is extremely talented. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want to. I appreciate it.